Welcome to the Scam Economy with your host, Matt Bender.
What is up, everyone, and welcome to the latest Scam Economy Post Show. I almost forgot what to call it. Scam Economy Post Show. This is the got some audio playing in my head here. Where is this coming from? Oh, here we go. A second YouTube channel, a YouTube page was open. Excuse me, but you didn't hear that. Just me. Hello, everybody, and call-in show is going to happen now. The Skype line is open. Download Skype or use Skype for web. Search Doomed Live. Doomed as in my other show, Doomed. I need to figure out what's going on with my Skype. I tried to create a Scam Economy call-in number specifically for the Thursday show, but it wasn't working for some reason. But Doomed Live is working, and we already got a caller. Here we go. Hey, what is your name? Where are you calling from?
G'day, Matt. It's John from Australia. How you doing?
Hey, John from Australia. Haven't heard from you in a while. How are you doing, my friend?
Not too bad, mate. To be honest, I've tapped out of crypto for the time being. I can't follow the news. It's just too exhausting. It is incredibly dreary.
Right.
But I saw that you were doing a show on Celsius, amongst other things, and I had a bit of I was struck by a memory. A memory of the Scam Economy post show for episode 3.
Jeez, wow. I can't even remember Scam Economy post show that I started right now 2 minutes ago. But go ahead.
Well, the reason why I was struck is because of the sort of this crash about Celsius, right?
Right.
And prior to that, the crash about Luna, and all of these crypto natives are telling us, oh, look, it was, it's kind of obvious that it was a scam. It's too good to be true. Surely you got to look at these things and, do your own research and that sort of thing, right?
Right.
But this one particular caller called up on episode 3 of the Scam Economy post show, and they said that both yourself and the left as a whole were too harsh on crypto. We're too harsh. This stuff is coming and we have to get used to it. They were telling us about, this caller was telling us about how they and their generation and many people like them are saddled with quite a bit of debt, in their case, student debt. And crypto was helping them pay that off. And I want to read you a couple of quotes from this call. So this is a quote from
you really did some work here. I love it. Go ahead. I might have to go back and listen to this.
I want you to go back and listen to it. It's 1 hour, 16 minutes, 20 seconds is the call on episode 3. But Anyway, so here's some quotes. If I stake stable coins, every week it pays out. I get 12.68%, and it's not fake money. I could pull it out right now. I guarantee you, no savings bond does that. Mutual funds might get there, or they might lose your money because the stock market crashes. Nothing is stable like that out there that I'm aware of. What do you think they're talking about, Matt? What specific service do you think they're talking about?
Did they specifically mention Celsius?
Yes, they specifically mentioned Celsius.
Oh, no. Well, I'm so glad you remember this. Wow. What else did they say? Do you have anything else?
Yes. I've got a quote here from you.
Okay.
My question is, where are these earnings coming from? Another quote from you. It doesn't make sense in terms of the interest they pay out. Someone is going to get screwed. Let's put it that way.
Oh, no. Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, should it be too shocking?
Another quote from the caller. This is like a savings account, and it compounds every week, and I can take it out. It's completely liquid, and I can take the money out at any time. It's a better way to hold your money than a bank. There's no argument.
Wow. I need to figure out who that was and see if I could reach back out to them and ask how how they're doing. I mean, for their sake, I hope they decided to cash out of Celsius before this all happened. Oh boy, doesn't seem
I
like
really
it.
hope they did as well,
Yeah,
because I could see the chat replay, and there were multiple people, including myself, in the chat saying, really, you need to pull your money out right now. At this point in time, Celsius was in the crypto news for having lost $54 million of their clients' funds, because I'm pretty sure one of their staff members accidentally logged into some scam website using the company's MetaMask, and it just leached 54 million of their customers' funds for no reason. The thing that really gets me about this stuff is that if Celsius hadn't crashed, if it was something else, if it was wherever else, or whatever it is, at that point in time, we are faced with people coming to us being sort of crypto cynics, crypto skeptics, whatever you want to call them. People come to us and say, you need to, this is the only way my generation is going to build intergenerational wealth, or this is the only way we're going to be able to do this. We are faced with them bringing us examples of actual scams, and then saying, you need to explain to me why this is, well, I got cash out of it, so it must be legit. I can't explain how it works, but it's working for me, and I'm getting paid. And this is why I've tapped out of these discussions, to be honest, because this was February, and in less than 6 months, it's entirely possible this person has lost all their money, and there is no recourse, nothing.
right. For people who aren't aware, Celsius basically, one of my favorite things was the founder of Celsius. What was his name? What's his name? I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But he basically, literally, what was it, Saturday night or something? He responded to people saying, "Oh, here we go. I could bring up the let me bring up the here. I even tweeted about it. Let me do a screen share here. 1 second. All right, so let's do this. Pulling up the tweet now. So on, oh my God. So on, let me just move over the screenshot people can see. So on, what was June 11th? Do you remember? So that was Saturday night. Yes, Saturday night. There are people who were saying that they're hearing about accounts that are locked on Celsius, like people who are trying to withdraw their funds from Celsius. This is June 11th. And Alex Mashinsky, who is the founder of Celsius, he tweets at one of these guys, do you know even one person who has a problem withdrawing from Celsius? Why spread FUD and misinformation? If you are paid for this, then let everyone know that you were picking sides. And then literally the next day, what happens? Celsius tweets out and also shares a Medium post. Celsius Network is pausing all withdrawals, swap and transfers between accounts. Acting in the interest of our community is our top priority. Our operations continue, and we will continue to share information with the community. By the way, those withdrawals that were temporarily paused, still temporarily paused, now almost a week later, people had to pay back their loans. People wanted to access their funds, and they simply could not do any of that because I'm not even going to say their funds are frozen, because that's what they're saying, but that's not true. Their funds are gone. That's why they're freezing it and pausing withdrawals, because nothing's there.
It kills me. I just go back to the quote from that caller. I could pull it all out right now. It's completely liquid. I can take the money out at any time. You can't, it's impossible to be fair, it's impossible to know the machinations behind the scenes and all that sort of stuff, right? It's kind of a, we couldn't know that this Alex guy was actively doing scams. But when you say, I get 12.68%, right? And then But when the caller says that and you say that just doesn't make sense. If you think about it rationally, like where are they getting those earnings? How does that make sense?
Right.
And we're just told we're too harsh on crypto.
Right.
We're too harsh. The left is too harsh. They're
like-
going to be seen as too cynical and too harsh on crypto.
Right.
Come on.
Like the thing I never got about crypto lending, and I'm going to do an episode about it, obviously, because it's certainly not something that's going away, because, the whole DeFi thing is built on this whole idea of, don't you hate how predatory and disgusting the big banks are? Wouldn't you like to be the one who's predatory and disgusting instead? I mean, that's what this all is. That's exactly what it is. But in this case, those people who wanted to be predatory and disgusting ended up getting, screwed over themselves. But, I don't understand the type of person who takes out a crypto loan. Like, let me go back. There was one type of person I completely understood, and that was the person who took out a crypto loan to purchase, to temporarily borrow. Because you could do that. You could borrow NFTs. There's a whole platform where you could borrow NFTs. So someone took out a crypto loan to borrow a Bored Ape NFT just when they were airdropping those ape coins to people who held Bored Ape NFTs. So he took out a crypto loan, used those funds to borrow a Bored Ape, because he was then the official Bored Ape holder. When the ape coin was airdropped later that day, he got the ape coin airdrop. So he basically made $100,000-$200,000 off that ape coin airdrop. And then he returned the Bored Ape and paid back the loan immediately. And the dude literally made six figures in a matter of minutes. Genius. If that is the one scenario I've ever heard of where a crypto loan made sense. Other than that, very specific example, that once in a lifetime opportunity where you could be the type of person who even figures out you could do that. I don't get the type of person who takes out a crypto loan.
It's playing all the same sort of financial games that we've seen played over the past few decades, right? Like, all of that stuff happens in financial markets, in art markets. All of the same crap happens, but they're able to do it completely free of regulators, and the money is able to move much, much faster. There is no revolution here for the working class.
Oh, absolutely not.
I just like the whole Celsius thing, and me remembering that call and going back and listening to it. It's like it's tragic. It's hard. Anyway, I'll jump off the line and I'll let someone else pester you.
No, thank you. This was I got to go back and listen to that. I'm gonna have to clip this for like a little bonus audio. And I'll clip this and that call from February, edit them together, and maybe release this as a little bonus on the podcast streams, because that's amazing. I didn't remember that call, that someone actually brought up Celsius, and not only just brought it up as someone who parked their crypto in Celsius and was I wonder if they actually made anything. I wonder if they ever withdrew anything, or they just said, ooh, let's just keep letting this accumulate, and then lo and behold, fast forward 4 months and they can't access any of it because it's almost assuredly all gone.
I hope that they didn't lose everything. I hope that they're still around, and I hope that they're able to call in.
Yeah, I hope.
And I hope that they're able to eat crow and admit, hey, maybe saying that this thing, was this great way of getting out of debt. Maybe it's not a good idea to sort of boost these things. And even when they admit they don't know where this money's coming from.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, so many people just don't like that. That's, you always hear the crypto, boosters and advocates to the critics say, like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You didn't do your research. You don't understand the technicalities or the technical side of this or how it all works. You know what? You could say that same thing about the very people who are actually buying into this. They just don't know. They just see, for months they saw a number go up, and that was enough for them. And they bought into the hype. And I mean, that's the thing. So many people thought this would never go down. Or if it went down, just wait a few days and it goes right back up and then some. We are now beyond that. I don't know if there'll ever be a bubble like this again. People are saying there's people who still think Bitcoin will hit 100K, and there are people who are saying Bitcoin will never again hit the 69K peak that it reached in November. The latter seems much more relevant now, but who knows? Maybe there'll be some new Tether or Luna and Terra-like scheme that creates a whole new another bubble down the road. So I don't want to speculate on that, but it seems very likely that the mask was pulled off to the fact that this was always just a pumped up value, and in the future it'll just be a pumped up value as well. There was never the thing that
they're going to tell you.
Right, go ahead.
The thing that people will tell you is, oh, but this isn't inherent to crypto. These are crimes, no matter where they take place, whether they take place in crypto or whether they take place in finance. What they did was bad, but it's not an indictment of crypto. And you see this constantly. You see this with NFTs. You see this with crypto. All of the DeFi lending, and the what we need to say to these people is that this is happening faster and at more scale than has ever happened in the financial markets, right? Like, this is happening daily, right? Molly White, who I saw in the chat earlier, had to create a website in order to track this stuff.
Right.
The revolution here is that this technology, you want to talk about use cases for the blockchain and use cases for crypto, it is to facilitate scams at tremendous scale and to milk and farm a whole bunch of liquidity from clueless retail investors. That's where the revolution is, and that's where that is where the use case is, to pull money in from people who are ultimately like victims, who are ultimately like built for just cash, kind of like by these absolute ghouls.
Right. I mean, let's put it this way. Like, what are those things called? There was the deli in New Jersey. Oh, a SPAC. I call it SPAC because it's.
Yes.
I hate saying SPAC. It sounds weird. But Special Purpose Acquisition Company. There was that story when that New Jersey deli. People might not know this. I might have to do an episode on this because it's fast. Not crypto. It sort of is actually. You'll see now, but it's specific to the stock market. Basically, how Truth Social, Trump's social media company, got put on the stock market. You could buy shares in basically a blank check company, like a shell corporation that gets a spot on the stock market, and like they get their little ticker and everything, and they basically absorb an actual company that's looking to sell shares and doesn't, they don't want to go through the whole process, and they basically combine, and there you go. Truth Social in that case is able to be traded on the stock market because they merged with this company that already had a shell company on the stock market. It's called a SPAC. And there was a deli, just a little local New Jersey deli that's traded on the stock market. You or I or anyone listening can literally go and buy shares in this little New Jersey deli. What was it called again? I want to see. There was a whole thing. There's this, okay. So there's a this was on CNBC last year. There's a single New Jersey deli doing $35,000 in sales a year, valued at $100 million in the stock market. And basically, this stock guy wanted to contacted this deli and set this all up. Said he was doing this to basically show how ridiculous it is. They're on the stock market. They're HWIN, Hometown International, and they're just a deli, and they're traded on the stock market under this SPAC thing. This is like a crazy scenario, and it happens every now and then, like I said, with Truth Social, but it's always pointed out as like an anomaly and how ridiculous it is. There's literally tens of thousands of these little New Jersey delis speckled all across the crypto world. Like that's what it is. And like I talked with David Gerard and Amy Castor on the earlier episode, and I think David brought this up, and it was a really great example of why these things are so different. Look at the stock exchange, like where you like buy and sell stocks. There'll be analysis on like, hey, you should stay away from this stock. We would criticize the analysis. We could criticize the stock market for sure. But those exchanges at least try to guide you in a direction of, this might not be the best investment. That might not be the best investment. This is, currently trending up. This could be a good investment. None of the crypto exchanges do any of that because they just want you to buy any shit. They don't care. You see all these major exchanges bringing in all these shit coins more and more every day. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you even like?
Sam Bankman-Fried from FTX said that, I believe it was Sam Bankman-Fried said, this Luna thing was so transparently a scam. If that was the case, then why did FTX list the token? If it was so transparently a scam, why were you selling it?
Did he say that? Where did he say that? Where, on Twitter or in an interview?
Yeah, on Twitter. Yep.
Oh my! I missed that shit. Did anyone point that out? I did not see him say that.
I'll have to track it down, but I'm almost positive. Happy to be corrected, but I'm almost positive it was SBF on Twitter said that, this thing was so obviously a scam that why do we even need to say it? But his exchange was listing the damn thing.
Right. I mean,
anyway, like I said, I'm gonna dash so someone else can call in. Hopefully the caller from episode 12, episode 3 post show, 1 hour and 16 minutes in, perhaps they can call in and let us know how they if they got their funds out.
Yeah, I hope they call in. Oh wait, I found his thread. Okay, SBF said, now Luna/UST were bad and ended badly. So did Thorano. That's whoa. But the core accusation against Holmes isn't that Thorano's failed. Startups fail all the time. The accusation is that she lied. Okay, so he's sort of defending Luna/UST mechanism wasn't misrepresented. It was in fact very transparent. And I think it was transparently going to falter at some point. There you go. That's not him saying it's a scam. That's him saying it's a bad investment and then going ahead and a weak investment at the very least. Yeah. That's. It would have been a little bit more juicy if he said it was it was a Ponzi or something. Yeah, and then he goes on, most bad investments aren't Ponzi schemes. Some are fraud, some are bad luck, and some are somewhere in between. Oh, man.
I mean, this is the guy that in an interview with, is it Mark Levine, described like, it's yield farming is like this box and you don't know what's in it and you don't know how it works, but it doesn't really matter because other people are putting money into the box and the box is increasing in value. And it's like, you're describing a scam, dude. You're describing a Ponzi.
Right.
Anyway, as I said, I gotta get out of here.
Oh, yeah, take
care. Have a great post show. I'll keep watching.
And
Cheers.
have a great Friday in Australia, my friend. Take care. Yeah, what was it that I'm not a Bill Gates fan, but he recently was interviewed at like a live TechCrunch event. And he basically said he stays away from crypto and NFTs, and he said he prefers things that produce value and create products, which I agree. If you're going to invest in something, that's the way to go. And he said that crypto is the greater fool's theory, where basically you buy something, and the way you make more money, the way you actually gain profit, is by finding someone who's a bigger fool, a greater fool than you are. Someone who's willing to spend more on this ridiculous speculative asset. And, he's spot on there. Let's go back to the phone. Wait, where's the... Oh, all right. Let me see if I could find the... There was a video I wanted to grab, and I forgot to grab it. Let me see if I could find it. Give me a second. Remember that Skype number is doomed live. It's not even a number. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Matt? Dave from Jamaica.
Hey,
How
Dave
are
from
you?
Jamaica. I'm doing good. How are you, buddy?
Not too bad. Well, looks like Bill Gates is good at pointing out the obvious with the greater fool theory.
Yeah,
But
I mean, listen, I'm no fan of Bill Gates, but I mean, a lot of these, tech, these actual guys in tech who came in early and created a lot of the foundational stuff, or helped build or move things towards a lot of this foundational stuff. Like, not the ones that are into just like the scammy like startup culture where it's like just create some bullshit, raise a ton of VC capital, and then just sell out. Like the people who actually created foundational tech stuff, no matter all the criticisms you want about their hoarding of wealth and stuff, from just the technical creation standpoint, all those guys pretty much seem to be on board with the fact that this is bullshit. Like, there's a very real reason, I think, why you don't see like Apple or Microsoft or I don't know, Intel, any of these companies going, hey, I'm gonna get into crypto.
well, that kind of brings me to the question because I've been wrestling with it. Because I watch other stuff like CoffeeZilla, and he goes into financial scams, and you know, and he's doing the crypto stuff as well, right? But outside of you and MR crew and so on, why do people seem to pretend that there's any legitimacy to crypto, right? Like, as you heard the counter argument,
It's that whole
it's a scam by nature. How it's designed.
We've seen this with all the sort of this especially happened since like the mid to late 2000s, like the height of the growth of startup culture, where all of a sudden all these tech companies became cool and hip, and they were like the mainstreaming of what's like considered like a cool company to work at, and on the vanguard of the future of where this is going. Google, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, et cetera, et cetera. And all these like media outlets sort of look at them as like, okay, whatever they're saying is going to be the next big thing is probably going to be the next big thing, because they're always, what they say goes. And it's weird because that's not true. A lot of the more recent attempts by these companies to create something new have absolutely failed. A lot of them are simply coasting on that original foundational product, the social media platform. Google tried their Google Glasses. Facebook has tried various different like video platforms and apps. Twitter has tried various other things that go beyond their like micro blogging platform. And all those things have failed, and they've sunsetted them and rolled them back. I mean, and then even new platforms that like those VC companies have poured money into over the years. Like, when's the last time you saw anyone talk about Clubhouse? I mean, that was a blip in like the startup world during the pandemic, and then it quickly disappeared once like Twitter just built the damn thing right into Twitter itself via Spaces. We saw this with like Periscope, and Periscope had a competitor at the time that all these like startup junkies were using called Meerkat. I don't know if anyone remembers this. Everyone was saying everyone was saying like Meerkat and Periscope are going to be the future of all this stuff. Well, Twitter basically acquired Periscope, and then because Periscope won, a la Twitter acquiring them, Meerkat went under, and then a few years down the line, Twitter just says, fuck it, we're just closing Periscope. I mean, so many times their shit fails, but because they sort of got in early and they are the Facebooks and Twitters and YouTubes of the internet, the media just eats up what they sell as if like, oh, this is going to be something. So what you have here is when you have like someone like Anderson Horowitz, the big VC firm, Anderson sits on Andreessen, whatever the fuck his name is, sits on Facebook's board. You have these guys who got in early on these companies, are now super rich billionaires, and they're saying, and they're pushing Web3 and all this stuff because they're heavily invested in it because it's the greatest thing in the world for them. They can invest all this money in these Ponzi's and then make their capital by owning all this coin from the get-go, selling off before the drop-off, and then just investing in the next project. They're making tons of money hand over fist. And so they're just pushing it as the next big thing. So the money keeps rolling in and media is just lapping it. It's just lapping it up. Like it's, oh, wonderful. Next big thing, next big thing. And they're going back and forth. They literally did a whole thing on the Dogecoin millionaire, calling him the Dogecoin millionaire. The guy never sold anything because he was so sold into Dogecoin and believed in it so much. He's not a millionaire anymore. Far from it. He might be close to losing money at this point now that it's back to like 5 cents. I think he bought in at 5 cents, so he might be breaking even. I don't quite recall off the top of my head, but Mr. Dogecoin millionaire was nothing but a paper millionaire, not even.
But while that is a very good explanation, I think the part that baffles me, like, as you said, you use Periscope, right? At least there's a thing. Even it was a shitty thing. It was a thing, right? It was something. It was a service. It was something.
Right.
I still don't know what crypto offers.
What I don't get are the tech guys, like the founder of Dig, Kevin Rose, and the founder of Reddit, Alexis, what's his face? I can't remember his name. The guy who's married to Serena Williams. That's right. If you don't know, the founder of Reddit is married to Serena Williams. These guys built their whole cred on being like the common nerd who just got lucky with startups. Like their whole thing was like social news stuff. Like we want to like facilitate the content creation and just let people, democratize this stuff. And we're just like, we're not like the sellouts like Mark Zuckerbergs and Jack Dorsey's and the YouTube guys. We're just like, we just wanted to build this cool product and we're nerds just like you. They're so far deep into this crypto shit. I would love to understand their whole thing. They're the guys I don't get. I mean, I guess when it gets down to it, you get to a point where the money's just too good and you are at the core of it a startup bro, right? I mean, I guess that's the simple answer. But I would love to know. I would love to sit down with one of those guys and try to understand what their whole deal is.
I guess on a side, I guess it's a side related note. Since a lot of this is hype, right? Elon Musk, a figure I don't really like very much, right? For people, I guess it's related to the media. The people who are fans of Elon Musk, a lot of STEM lords and stuff like that. People who should know when somebody is just regurgitating something somebody else told them, right? Where people think he's a guy who probably sat down and made the Tesla or something like that, or he knows rocket science. And he clearly doesn't, right? He talks like a guy doing the fake it till you make it strat, right?
Oh,
like,
that's 100%. That's a lot of these guys, but no one is so bad at it like Elon Musk. It's amazing.
Well,
it's
how do
amazing.
so much people in that field who are actual engineers are simps for Elon Musk? I can't understand.
Well, you know what? I would guess that a lot of people who work for Tesla and SpaceX basically simp because he's funding their the love of their life, like what they've devoted their entire life to. There's no way some of those literal rocket scientists believe his hype. They just fucking stroke his dick so they get the funding. You know what I mean? Like that
would explain them. Well, I'm talking about people who have no shot, who are like science nerds who should know better, who have no shot of Elon retweeting them or even knowing they exist. It boggles the mind, right? Because let's say if Elon wasn't rich, they would be the first nerd. Hey, well, actually, they would be the first people to jump on him, right? And it kind of boggles my mind. It makes me want. I'm a rare guy who I don't believe in the intelligence thing or dumb or smart people. Like people. It depends on the environment you grow up in, but those guys are really shaking my faith. Like maybe there are folks who are like robots, like you can give them a task and they'll do it efficiently, but when it comes to anything else, they're complete morons.
A lot of
They're
people
beginning to shake my faith in this.
I mean, what you have here is like a lot of those Elon simps are true believers in the whole, hustle and grind bullshit. And they view Elon as the ultimate hustle and grinder. I mean, he's a literal billionaire. That's what they all want to be. That's what they aspire to be. They want to be just like him. And a lot of those guys, the ones that actually are successful, how do they make their money? Usually it's not by creating a product or a service. A lot of those guys make money off of selling like bullshit master classes on how you too can be rich. I mean, I'm sorry.
The Gary V initiative.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No one who's legit is selling. Like, maybe if you're like, I don't know, maybe if you're like a YouTuber, you would sell like a legit course on like how to build your YouTube following or whatever. Like specific things you're good at. No one who sells a straight up like, here's how you get rich course is actually getting rich off of anything but that how to get rich course. Because if you are getting rich, why are you wasting your time, A, making like how to get rich course, and then B, telling people that secret or whatever? It's like, doesn't make any sense. Like, there is the basic stuff of like, oh, I'm a YouTuber and like, this is how I make sure like to make sure my videos are extra tasty looking to the YouTube algorithm. I mean, there's certainly like things you could teach people with that, and there's like tips and like how to edit your podcast so it sounds really good. I know there's people who do stuff like that. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people who sell those get rich courses. They're all bullshit. They're scams, just like crypto and all the other hustle bullshit scams. And those are the type of people who look up to Elon Musk, because that's basically what he is. He sells the hope of being like Elon Musk. I mean, Steve Jobs was a really and Steve Jobs was horrible for a number of reasons. But Steve Jobs was a really like visible body in the space. But he was just visible in the sense of his Apple products. He wasn't out there constantly trying to act like he was, some sort of guru in the sense of I could get you rich. This is how you get rich quick too. Elon.
Oh yeah, you didn't sell that. No.
Elon, like just his crypto shit, just promoting the crypto shit. That's enough. That's all he had to do. And that should tell you everything you need to know about him. What is a billionaire who has a car company and a rocket ship company selling you crypto bullshit or talking about crypto bullshit at all? Like, again, I'm not saying any of these people are good, but you don't see Mark Zuckerberg he tried to do the Libra shit, but he wasn't on Twitter saying like buy Dogecoin or buy Bitcoin. I mean, it's like really bizarre that Elon would do that, honestly. Like the guy comes off as someone who really who begs for some sort of attention. He needs to be seen as cool. Look at him getting into fights with that hard drive satire website, the one that makes all like it's like the Onion for like video game websites. He always steals their memes. They call him out for it, and he gets so pissed about it that they call him out for it. Like, first of all, why is he stealing memes? Why is a billionaire stealing memes?
It's weird. It truly is weird. Like, the whole, I guess for me, what started me on my anti-Elon thing long ago, because what kind of set off my bullshit detector is like, people might not know this. I'm a bit of a science nerd, but I don't really talk about it that much, because it can kind of put people to sleep. But when I've heard lots of people talking about this guy, like he's going to send them to Mars in the next 10 years, and then I listen to him.
He said that 10 years ago.
Right. And then I look at what he's actually doing and then listen to what he's saying. I'm saying, this guy is not full of shit.
Yeah.
Mars is like ridiculously far. We haven't built the infrastructure to even support that type of thing. It's
SpaceX,
all bullshit.
SpaceX
And I'm
has
hearing
barely even done
science
anything like
nerds
that. Yeah,
talk like he's serious.
right.
And it drives me insane.
They're buying into
Guy-
they're buying into the hype. It's the same it's the same type of science nerds who fucking love the Big Bang Theory. Like, I don't care if you liked it as a sitcom and you thought it was funny. I don't give a shit
Horrible
about that.
sitcom.
But yes, but I don't care. It had its moments, I think. There were some episodes where I was like, yeah, it's good TV to have on in the background. But yes, it's not particularly good comedy, you know. But it's the same type of people who liked the Big Bang Theory. It's like, you know, if that's your thing, this, you know, this one segment every 10 episodes that is slightly clever, fine. That's your form of entertainment. Cool. But the science nerds who liked it because it was like science, it wasn't science. It was just like base level, like that what is it? That Facebook page. Like, I fucking love science. It's just like performative bullshit, like pretending to be a science nerd or whatever. I mean, if that's your thing,
dweebism that somehow became cool.
Yeah, because it became cool. Like, again, if that's your thing, I don't care. But like, don't then like place Elon Musk on a pedestal as like representative of the whole thing. Like, real scientists must truly hate him, because nothing makes their profession look dumber than his ridiculous speculations and predictions that are just like bullshit crazy. And it demeans
if you think that's painful, like on Netflix, right, where they actually have science documentaries on how you would go to Mars and all that bullshit, and then Elon will pop up in this science documentary as like a source of credible information. It is infuriating, it really is. I just don't know. It makes me kind of it just makes me wonder what's going on in people's heads, because like I can accept Elon being a bullshit artist, right, as most billionaires are, but people who should know better and have no gain from simping to Elon and doing it anyway is what I find truly disturbing. But I think I've sucked up a lot of time because I enjoy talking with you, Matt, and you explain things for me that I can get it, and I definitely enjoyed it. But man, it's depressing. It really is when I start to think about it.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's gonna be weirder when I'm happy it's not where it is anymore, because I think people will save their money, but it's we're gonna be in a weird scenario where like it's like middling like this. The whole market is middling like this, yet the crypto advocates and boosters are still pushing it as if it's summer 2021, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you debasing yourself like this?
I'm just praying. I know you said that it's probably not the end, but I hope you're wrong on this one. I hope crypto dies.
It's not.
I want one good thing.
There's too much. There's too many boosters who are bought in. Maybe let's see what happens with what happened. Let's see what happens to Tether. Let's see what happens there. Let's see what happens when Ethereum finally moves to proof of stake, if that ever happens. Let's see what happens here. I don't think it's impossible for it to just die completely. I'm just saying we're not there yet, and we're not real. I don't think we're close to that yet.
Oh, I almost forgot, and you can answer this when I'm off the line, because different topic, but another grifter. The Lauren Boebert, I remember way back when her origins were literally a wrestler and some incest and stuff like that. Do you think there's any truth to the folks who brought down Madison Cawthorn their scandalous reports,
the thing about how the thing about how she was on like one of those
she's an escort and whatnot?
Nah, I don't believe it. No.
It's too fantastical.
It's too It's just there's nothing there, and I don't trust what I've seen. I don't believe it. It's just too. I mean, In the realm of possibility, is it in the realm of possibility? I mean, sure, that's in the realm of possibility for literally anybody. But in terms of like anything that makes me believe that specifically about Lauren Boebert, I haven't seen anything legitimate or specific. I think it's and I don't know. I don't even know who put that shit out. But if they were like,
it was the same folks who brought down Cawthorn. So
was
it's
it
a
really?
conservative group. Yeah, that's why I heard.
Then
But
in my
thing
opinion,
that confused-
in my opinion, they've blown any legitimacy they had with the Cawthorn stuff, because whatever is there is not there. If they got something, they better show it, because they haven't shown it.
The question I'm asking, since they're conservative, right? How did Boebert end up on the shit list? Because as far as I know, she's been towing the line.
That's another thing. I don't really, yeah. I also don't think it matters, but I think you know that too. Like, this is just, conservatives eating conservatives, so let them. Who cares? But like, the reason they do it is because they think it's, like evil or terrible to be doing what they're claiming she's done. I mean, I don't have a problem with what, if someone wants to join a sugar daddy website and be an escort, or
the problem is not what she allegedly done, right? It's the hypocrisy at the end of the day.
Yes,
that's the thing.
Yes. I haven't seen anything that gives any legitimacy to it, quite honestly.
Well, good to know, but I guess for me, it's that the question is, because I understood why they took down Cawthorn, because of the whole sex party stuff, right? And conservative leadership didn't like that type of stuff getting out there. But I guess what threw me off is what Boebert hasn't really done anything to upset the leadership, as far as I know.
I'm not sure what. Maybe she has. I don't know. Maybe there's something that she didn't toe the line on. I'm not sure, but yeah. It's a great point. I don't know. I guess we'll have to keep watching to find out.
Well, you said
next time.
It's probably
next
bullshit.
time on the next episode of Congress.
All right, later, Matt.
What has Lauren Boebert done to the GOP? Is her reckoning? Yeah, I mean it's amazing what the times we're living in. Yeah.
Yeah. Later, Matt.
Take care, Dave. Yeah, some people are pointing out in the chat that I was being too nice to Big Bang Theory. I don't know why I was. I guess I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings who watches the show in the chat. But yeah, it's a pretty bad show. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? And you hung up on me. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Matt, it's David from Charleston.
Hey, David from Charleston. What would you like to talk about?
Man, I'm watching this NBA game over here. Watching the Warriors beat up Boston.
I think you're calling into the wrong show.
I know. I wanted to talk about crypto.
Cool.
I'm not a pro crypto guy by any stretch of imagination, but I have friends of mine that like swear by this crap, man. And
how so? When you say swear by it, what do you mean?
Well, like, okay. So my question is this: have you seen that the Folding Ideas video about crypto?
Yes.
It's like 3 hours long.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Everyone should watch it.
Say that again?
It's a very good piece. Everyone should watch it.
Yeah. So basically, they're in the camp of like, don't you want to make money? Like they, you know what I'm saying? Like it's harder for me to like get them to walk away from it.
Why do they care? Why do they care if you make money? If they found something that's working for them, why are they so hell-bent on getting you into it? That would be my question. Why do you care if I get into this?
Well, that's the thing is that like I tell them, I'm like, hey man, be careful with this stuff, blah blah blah. Like you need to be careful with this crypto thing because like I don't it's unregulated. Like I always bring that up. I tell it's unregulated. This seems like there's just a bunch of guys because like back in the day, before we regulated banks closely, like banks did the same thing these crypto wallets are doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's why there are now these regulations, and that's why if a bank goes under, you'll get your money.
Exactly. Like, what was that famous? It was like a famous scandal where like they basically would tie up the gold in a safe, and then they would throw like the safe by wire between the two banks.
Oh wow!
There was some crazy. It was some crazy like scandal back in the day in like New York of all places, and like this was before it had any regulation of any of the banks. And so like basically there was one bank that would like shift its physical money between branches.
Right. Interesting.
And it's like, I'm like, that's the reason why we have all these regulations, because these people, like, if left if they're left to their own devices, they're just a bunch of freaking crooks, like they rob each other all the time.
Right.
And so I'm trying to get my friends out of this crypto stuff.
What are they saying? What are they saying right now with everything going on?
So they say, well, the whole economy is a scam, and so why wouldn't I make money off of this scam? Who cares?
Have they made money? Have they actually made money?
That's the thing. They haven't. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what are y'all even doing with this? Like, what they're like, but it's that promise of a payday.
See, I've had people call into the show and tell me they think it's bullshit, but they just happen to be really good at it, and they've made money off of it. And I've said to them, you know what? If that's your deal, and you're just privately making the money off of it while you can, and you're not like directly screwing people over, and you're not directly promoting this shit, and you in fact you're warning people about it, and then you know what? Everyone does shitty jobs for shitty companies that they gotta do to make a living. You do what you got to do. I'm not going to promote it, but go ahead and do what you got to do to provide for your family. That I get. Those people I get. I don't get the people like your friends who are losing money hand over fist and are still saying, this is so freeing. I'm losing all my money.
Well, like that's the thing, is that like they're just, because they're like, it feels like they're in a cult, man. Like they're like, oh, I'm gonna hodl, blah blah blah. And a third, I'm buying the dip, and I'm like, that's not a dip, dude. That's a free fall. Like, I don't know. And like they'll just buy, and like hodl. And I'm like, I don't.
What are they buying? Have they told you? What are they investing in actually? What are they actually? What?
I basically they've told me, but I have no idea what it is. Like, I think they grabbed in Doge at one point. There's a.
When did they get into it? When did they get into it?
So basically, I was stationed with them when I was in the military, and we saw Bitcoin take off. Like, start in around that time was like 2008-ish, and so some of them got into Bitcoin, and then recently it was during the whole GameStop stonks thing.
2008 would be a little bit 2008 would be a little bit too early, but you're saying like early on, maybe like what, 2010, 2011, 2013, something like that.
2011, I think it was 2012, 2011.
Yeah, if you got it in 2008, then I would say your friends have every reason to every reason to believe in it, because they got in at zero. They got in at zero. Bitcoin launched in August 2008.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think like that's what I mean. Like we heard sound that time, but I don't know. Like, they were talking about Bitcoin when I got back from my second deployment, which was like 2011-ish. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I don't know what that is. And I think they bought something. I can't remember what it was, but they've been screaming about Bitcoin, not Bitcoin exactly, but like their regrets about not buying into Bitcoin when it launched. And then they've been buying into like Doge because they saw that as the next thing. And then there's some other weird meme coin that I've never heard of that I can't even remember what they talked about, because these people are perpetually on Reddit, and they're at the point where I don't even understand what they're even saying anymore. You know what I mean? It reminds me of like Leet Speak back in the day. It's like I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. I'm like, I don't, you know. And so I keep telling them like, you like watch this video, and like I think I sent them the Folding Ideas video, and they basically wrote it off as like FUD. It's anti-crypto propaganda, and I'm like, what? Like I don't.
It sounds like they're not into an investment. It sounds like they're into a cult. I mean, you know, if you invest in something, you want to know everything about it so you know when to move your money around. It doesn't seem like they care about that at all.
Well, that's what I mean. Is that like how do I think they're falling into a trap of like nihilism. Like I feels like they're stuck in like a passive nihilism where it's like nothing matters, so who cares, right? And like I was wondering, like, have you had experiences of people in your life that have been in that kind of slump or like have been in like a dangerous place like this? Like what were some of the things that you talked to them about, maybe shook them out of it? I don't know what to do with it.
I'll be honest. I don't know anybody who's deep into it. I know people who found out about it and dabbled in it, and I just, on Facebook, people who I haven't seen in a couple of years, but people from like high school, college, friends from after that, mostly people I knew from like high school and college, because once you start getting to like work friends, I'm talking about like people who I work with at the Majority Port or at Mashable who know about crypto and know everything that I know about it in terms of like it being not good at the very least. So, and I would just say like, watch what you're doing here, man. And they'd just be like, oh no, I'm just fucking around with it. Like, if I'm buying $100 of this, then that's it. And if I lose it, I lose it. If I make money, cool. All right. Just be careful. I have not come across anybody I personally know who dove into this, and that's also probably because of my politics. Like the people in my life, I was into punk rock very early on, and so the people in my life were all in that scene, and they all tended to be very progressive and leftist people, and so inherently they just weren't very into this stuff at all. I'm sure if I grew up around more conservative or libertarian people, I would probably be experiencing what you're experiencing in terms of like people I know from back in the day being into this. But just like it is interesting, I think, how dependent on the politics of people. Like again, all my friends back in the day were New York City punk rockers. None of them fell into this shit. At most, a few people I saw wanted to just dabble in it, a couple, $100 or something. Completely knowing the risk and how they didn't care about the culture around it. It was simply like a gamble, like a scratch-off lotto ticket or some shit.
Yeah. Like, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, all these guys are libertarians. I mean,
there's no other way. Like, I don't get the left, the few left-wingers who are trying to make this their part of their identity. I know there's a few people out there. I gotta have them on the show. I know a few of them have tweeted at me. I will be having them on this show. They probably think I'm trying to avoid them. I'm not. This show is young. We're on episode 19. I wanted to fully establish everything first before we start getting into the intricacies of debating this stuff. But I will be having them on. I know there's like Chain Leftist is one of the guys. Blockchain Socialist is another one. A few other people have tweeted at me. I mean, I just don't see how you can take one of the most inherently capitalistic things imaginable and say, no, this is actually a left-wing thing. Give me a break. You're not selling me on it. I know they're going to argue the blockchain technology and not the financial side of it. Yet, interestingly, there's not a single good use you could give me for that either. Like, is there some like random small startup out there that might be using blockchain for good? It's possible, sure. Is there anything at scale? Like, why aren't any of these crypto companies using the blockchain for their databases? Why isn't Coinbase got all their shit on the blockchain? Why doesn't they don't? Because none of these companies are using blockchain for anything but their financial speculative assets.
Oh yeah. Like, because blockchain is nothing but an append-only ledger.
Yeah,
it's like it's like saying that like Excel spreadsheets are revolutionary. It's like no, it's a program that you can use,
Yeah.
but like it's just a ledger.
But
Like it's all it is.
but
There's nothing.
if the blockchain's form of that ledger is so revolutionary and great, why the fuck isn't Coinbase got like all of its employee records on the blockchain? Why aren't they hiring and firing on the blockchain? They don't because it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's because it's a thing that doesn't work, doesn't do what it's supposed to do very well. It is the blocks themselves are like you've said, it's a massive point of attack and failure. Like it has so many permissions and so much data and so much stuff is important that it's super obvious to go after it.
And of course,
and so
code is law.
What it's supposed to do.
Code is law. If you fuck something, up, or the cheap ass developer you hired from I don't know wherever to code for you on the cheap does a shitty job because he's also got 10 other clients to get something done for because his rates are so low, fuck something up, and that money gets sent to the wrong person or just gets sent to an empty wallet that no one has the keys to, that shit's gone for good. There's no reversing it. There's no fixing it.
Oh yeah, you can't roll it back. And then if you do fuck it up and you make enough noise, they'll just fork the chain, which defeats the purpose of it being decentralized. Like, okay, well, you forked it. Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Like now you've given the game away because when it affects you, you want shit to roll back.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, these people they're not serious.
I do not get this fetishization of decentralization. It is not attainable in any sort of mass scale. I learned this firsthand.
It's not decentralized. That's the thing. It's not decentralized.
That too, but it's not decentralized because if it truly is, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. There needs to be some organizing body. Listen, if you really want decentralization, what you do is you create like a nonprofit with like a board that can be voted off. Like people can be voted on and off the board and things like that. But at the end of the day, there needs to be a body of people or an individual, a trusted individual, or someone that you can go to with an issue and they can fix it. Because otherwise, it's literally libertarian idealism. It's pure anarchy. I mean, there's nothing you can do. I mean, imagine trying to sell your grandma on putting her money on the blockchain. How many times did your grandma probably lose her debit card or forget her PIN number or whatever, and she went to the teller at the bank and they went, "No problem, Granny." They're tapping on the keyboard on their computer, all fixed. Here's your new card. Here's your information. All your money's there, no problem. Imagine if Grandma loses her shit on the blockchain. Sorry, Grandma, not your keys, not your coin. That's horrible. That's why this shit will never go mainstream. And it's not just Grandma. The vast majority of people are just not technically savvy. The vast majority of people forget this shit all the time. It's not important to them. They don't live online like the people in our bubble. It's just the facts of the matter. And I can't imagine what would happen if people were using this shit as their bank and just losing their friggin' bank accounts technically left and right. It would be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. But it is attractive to a lot of, it's attractive to only one class of people. And though it just so happens that class of people happen to be insane and giant bullshit artists and basically high on their own farts all the time, which are venture capitalists. Like that's this is attractive to, because it's a way for them to manipulate like investor funds, get paid out super high, and then divert any responsibility to machines and pretend like this is something that happened in the ether and this is not simply, modalities of human interaction and obscured trust relationships. Like this is not a person does these things. Like that's what people like. There was that, in the Folding Ideas video, whatever, he goes over DAOs. And it's just like, yeah, it's just a mechanism for these people to, brush off their responsibility,
Well, I mean,
of
the
like
idea
what.
the idea of a DAO that's always sold is like, oh, you get it's everyone buys in and you get a vote and everyone votes. Democracy. Democracy is people having to buy their votes, and the more tokens you hold, the more votes you get. I mean, that's not democracy.
yeah.
That's not democracy.
And then you can lose votes if you lose votes. Like if you lose a vote, if you're on the wrong side of a vote in a DAO, you can lose voting stake.
Right.
So like it incentivizes people to go with where the group is going to go, and then those people just gain more power. Like it's a machine that builds monopolies. That's what it does.
And you know how many times
these people are holistically unserious.
And you know how many times I've seen the DAO maker or just some like savvy investor buy up all or just buy 51% of the tokens, have the voting majority, and there's like vote to give themselves everyone's tokens or some shit like that, like just completely run with the project funds. Like it's like unbelievable. This is not. There is nothing about this that is liberating. There's nothing about this that is revolutionary. There is nothing about this that is game changing. I mean, game changing, I guess, for scammers. That's for sure. But that's about it.
Yeah, I hope that I hope that my friends can either see this or get out of this, or maybe like when this thing does collapse on them, that they don't get hurt too much, because I don't know how much they're invested.
They've already had, if they jumped in the past 18 months, they're definitely at a loss right now.
Yeah. I just keep telling them, hey, like you gotta be careful with this. Get out. Like don't believe these guys. Blah blah blah. Like I just telling them to try to like keep. I'm like, come on, man. Like y'all just have to. This is bullshit. Like, this is just crap. Like these people are liars. And then they just you don't understand it, man. I'm like, I feel bad for them. So. But anyways, I've taken up too much of your time already. Do your thing. Thanks for everything that you do, Matt. Appreciate the show. Love the scam economy. Love you on Majority Report. You have a great one, man.
Thank you. I appreciate the call. It was great. Check out Doom too if you don't already check that one out. My Tuesday show.
Oh yeah, I got you. I got you on Stitcher. I got your Doom show on Stitcher. So
perfect. Love it. Thank you for calling. This was a great call. Definitely calling again. Have a great night.
Will do. Bye.
Bye. Let me know how your crypto friends are doing. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, yeah, this is Mark from Sunnyvale.
Hey, Mark, what would you like to talk about?
Yeah, I guess it's similar to the previous caller. I've got some super libertarian friends, like we all do. And they're super into this Bitcoin thing, crypto. Actually, they're intriguingly skeptical of crypto or critical of it, which is, I guess, refreshing. But they are super.
Believe that Bitcoin is cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is all scammy and it's bullshit. But Bitcoin is the real thing. Bitcoin's not crypto. Bitcoin's gonna actually be the main currency. It's gonna be the currency. It's gonna take over and change the world. It's gonna solve all the world's problems.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my god. All right. This is different than the
Right.
last. This is different than the last guy. It sounded like those other guys just wanted to fill their bags by any means necessary. The people you're talking about, your buddies, are ideologically into it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're diehard, and I don't know if I don't know. It's actually interesting because one of them the other day on Facebook, when obviously as everything's crashing around them, they're kind of lamenting that they're blaming the scam coins, and as they call them, which would be included as Bitcoin for everyone else, but for them they call everything but Bitcoin a scam coin anyway. And they lament that. What was the quote? He said, like, I wish we could go back to when Bitcoin was just nerdy libertarians. It struck me that the guy was basically without knowing it, saying that they should regulate it, which is very not libertarian thing. So it occurred to me that I don't know how. I think if you're super into it, it's not going to happen. But it occurred to me that it's possible some of these people, especially if they lose money or they see that this system is just super corrupt, I don't know, maybe it pushes them away from libertarianism a little bit, because they realize, oh, you can't just have a completely unregulated thing, because the I don't know, the scam artists will just take over it, because that's what happens.
From your mouth to God's ears, I guess. I mean, I can't imagine them dropping those libertarian ideals because of this. I mean, they're just not going to give it up. This is not going to. There will be no failure of Bitcoin, because it's to them, it's ideological. It doesn't matter. I mean, because frankly, if they want to go back, that means they want less people to be invested, and if less people are invested, its value is going to drop and continue to drop, because that's all that's propping it up. That's where the money comes from. So I mean, for them, I guess it's a double-edged sword. I mean, you can't have one without the other. You can't say it's going to be the next, global currency, but also think it's going to just be spread between a few people who know the age of consent in all 50 states off the top of their head.
Yeah, that's that Kraken guy. Oh my God, I couldn't believe that. Like, anyway.
It's another episode for this. This is what I would love to ask him. He was pissed that there was a debate over who can say the N-word. I'm assuming because he doesn't think it matters, because he's a libertarian, so anyone should be able to say it. Why didn't he say it in the why didn't he say it in his statement? Say it. If you want to say it so bad, say it. Go ahead. Why are you saying it? I think we know
maybe he's
why.
waiting for Musk to take over Twitter, and then he can put it on there without being fear of censored.
Oh, I mean, he could say it. He could certainly say it. Yeah,
that's a great point.
Yeah, let's see him say it. I mean, if saying that word is so libertarian and it makes you feel so liberated, then say it. I mean, let's see what happens. So the social consequences, but that has nothing to do with libertarianism. If people have to deal with that shit all the time, the social consequences of something. But he didn't say it, but he's sick and tired of the debate over it. And pronouns, another thing that was really bothering him. Just ridiculous.
Yeah,
these people are the biggest babies. Like, listen, they probably think like. They probably have this crazy view of like people on the left or progressives where it's like we sit around and talk about I don't even put pronouns in my bio. I don't care about this shit at all. Let people do whatever the fuck they want. You are the guys, the conservatives and libertarians, you're the ones who stew and fucking they stew in this shit, and that's all they talk about. I literally would rather talk about anything under the sun. I mean, the reason I've been talking so much about this stuff lately is because of the blowback from conservatives, and to the point where it's getting so dangerous, this disgusting campaign to call all LGBTQ people and their allies groomers and pedophiles. To me, it's so dangerous right now. So that's why, if anyone's been watching me and says, why is Matt talking about this so much lately, it's because I think it's extremely important at this moment in time right now to push back on this horrible rhetoric. It's dangerous. Calling someone a groomer or a pedophile is going to lead to one of your insane followers going out and trying to hurt this person that you're calling a groomer and pedophile. I mean, it's that simple. And that they know that.
Right, yeah.
They know that. This isn't like calling someone an asshole. This is saying this is throwing accusations at someone, saying that they are trying to harm children. And you know how people get about that. So that's why I've been focusing on it so much now. I would love, and I'm sure all the LGBTQ viewers of my show agree with me and feel the same way. They wish as well that we could talk about anything else right now, because it's just not something we talk about. It's just not. That's not the topics of our everyday that we bring up. I mean, But yeah, so I love that the Kraken guy. I gotta get Ryan Mack from New York Times on this show to talk about that. He's been on Doom before, so I hope I could get him on Scam Economy. He wasn't with the New York Times then, but so that might be an extra issue that I might have to deal with, because some of those legacy establishments are a bit different in terms of letting you book their journalists and reporters. But I'll try and see. I would love to talk about that piece. That Kraken thing is crazy.
Yeah, did he just come out of nowhere and do that? I just started paying attention to the space, but that he tweeted about that stuff like 2 days ago, and
it seems like people within the
Kraken's been around for a while.
Yeah. It seems like there's been internal discussion in the company for a while now about like the culture and stuff, and these were internal talks and like internal company policies about this stuff. And a handful of people who are upset by it seem to have reached out to Ryan Mack of the New York Times. And word of Ryan Mack's reporting on this, like as he was writing it up and doing his work on it and reaching out to people and sourcing it and writing it up, Kraken apparently got the heads up that he was writing this piece for the Times. And he came out with this thread days before the piece published to try to get ahead of it.
Right. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't read the New York Times piece actually yet, but yeah, I read his long trying to. He's trying to get ahead of it, and he basically gave all the salient info. I'm not sure if he didn't explain anyway. But the disturbing thing is all these crypto bros are like subtweeting or commenting on his tweet, and they're just like, oh, this makes me like this guy more, and all this and that. It's like, oh my God, this space is so toxic.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. Like, and especially if you think of like the political leanings of like the tech space in general, a lot of people in the tech world who are the actual workers, the administrative people, the social people, the HR people, the developers themselves, obviously. All those people, the product people, the designers, all those people tend to, if not like full-blown leftists, tend to lean left of center at the very least, and have fairly like at least agree in like at least socially liberal, if not like fiscally liberal, but they're definitely socially liberal. And in the crypto space, it's like you fall into like this weird black hole in the tech space, where it's like, oh no, every asshole in the tech world has basically congregated in the crypto space. Yeah. It like sucks them in. Yeah. Like a black hole does, right? It's bizarre. And another thing where I'm like, if you're a leftist who's trying to push this shit, how do you even like every single the financial aspects of it is inherently capitalist. The tech aspects, all your coworkers and all your colleagues are fighting back against that because they're saying it's bullshit tech. And then the whole space is so inherently right-wing and ideologically libertarian. What are you seeing in this that's any way, shape, or form left? It's just so bizarre. It makes me like, I just don't even, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I wonder what they hear, because it's almost like Dorsey, Jack Dorsey might be influencing some of these people, because he really hammers down how it can help like the third world, and he's doing that thing. Oh, who did he team up with?
Jay-Z to bring
Jay-Z. Oh my God, yeah.
Bitcoin education to the projects.
Right. And it's just like, when did he start doing that? Like a couple months ago when it was peaking? Like anybody who got into that. Oh, anyway, we're getting off topic there, but yeah, maybe they see what he's doing, what he's trying to do with this Bitcoin, and like constantly talking about how it'll lift people up out of poverty and how it's good for stuff. And maybe they, I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not sure.
He's definitely not the only one. That's one of the major selling points from these guys that they try to push. It's going to help the unbanked. It's going to liberate the people. And there have been people who've sold me on, not sold me, but tried to sell me on some of those legit positives in like countries like, I don't know, like Nigeria or Venezuela, where they can't trust their financial system and their own currencies are extremely volatile themselves. I mean, sure, okay, but I mean, I would love for them, the people in that country, those countries, be able to store their capital in something that wasn't volatile at all. Like crypto is this like
there's got to be a better option than giving them Bitcoin as a payment.
Right. I mean, it seems like there's not, but it seems like there should be. Yeah, yeah.
Couldn't you hook them up with a PayPal account and give them?
I mean, if these tech guys really cared about this, they could definitely solve these problems, because a lot of this infrastructure is already built. They just have to open it up to people in those countries. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess you could argue that people in like Iran or North Korea or Cuba couldn't because of like embargoes and shit like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why they sell this shit when some of the more obvious solutions are sitting right in there in front of them. I mean, I know why, because they want to get more people. They want to get more people in, but it makes it very hard to stomach their reasons, knowing why.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay, well, yeah, thanks for taking the call.
No, thank you for calling in. Let me know how your your libertarian friends deal with this. I mean, again, I guess they don't care so much about the value of it because of their position on it. Yeah.
Well, no, they are just loving. Well, I can't tell if they're like loving the moment because they're getting Bitcoin cheap, or if they're like hiding how anxious they're feeling because they must have bought all along this massive rise here a couple of years ago. Although I guess since they're super libertarian, they might have been buying for many years at this point. But
yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, if you bought it early, you're probably not worried about this. Like if you bought it, for a couple $100 at even that much, you're probably fine right now in terms of. But I mean, you lost out on your chance to really cash out. I mean, how much do you believe in something to just let tens of thousands of dollars just fly out the window for each, per Bitcoin?
Right. And then not to mention that, like, very few people actually probably keep their Bitcoin off chain. And most people are using these exchanges, and even the super libertarian bros using like, what was the one that went down? Celsius, Yeah.
Well, Terra. Do you think of Terra Luna or yeah?
Well, Celsius was an exchange.
No, they were the lender. People put their money in to lend it out and make money off of the interest. But yeah, they.
Oh, right. Not quite an exchange, but
yeah.
But people could, they basically, their coins are gone. Their money's gone.
It's not sitting there frozen like they're telling you. It's not. It's not. They don't have the liquidity. It's not there.
So interesting.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what happens. So there's definitely going to be investigations into this. This isn't like a little shitcoin rug pull and you get lucky and get away with it. This is big money that's being stolen from under people's noses. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for it.
Have a great night. Bye. Definitely calling again. Peace.
Okay. Cool.
All right. What time is it? I forgot to mention super chats. I'll read your super chats, folks. And patreon.com/MattBinder. Please don't forget to support this show if you can. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Mitchell.
Hey, Mitchell. I see you're doing. You have your video on. Do you mind if I pull your video into the live stream?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. Let me do that right now. All right, here you are. Mitchell, where are you from, by the way?
Hi, I'm from Utah.
Hey, Mitchell from Utah. What would you like to talk about?
So, first off, I want to just second what you said earlier about queer people want to talk about anything else. I'm queer myself, and boy, it sucks right now in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure I guess you agree with that sentiment, right? I mean, that's you don't sit around talking about being queer no more than I sit around talking about how I'm straight or something. Like it's just ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I appreciate everything you're doing to push back against all the narratives from the right wing.
It really bothers me. Like I'm not even like I'm not. It really gets to me. Like it really pisses me off, and like. It's such bullshit. It really angers me. Like I don't. I'm stewing in my own head right now about how much it angers me. Like this libs of TikTok bullshit and Matt Walsh's shitty documentary. It's just like, come on, give me a break. And people are just like buying into this shit. I really do think we're gonna look back at this moment and it's gonna be like, what the fuck was going on?
Yeah, totally agree. So what I kind of really wanted to talk about, because you're kind of good at the conversations with the other side thing. I was talking to one of my friends the other night, and he's some type of libertarian, I guess, is maybe the easiest way to describe it. And we got talking about gun control and like, what we'd like to see happen, kind of a thing. And I was really strong on kind of like assault weapons ban. We need it. These big guns, like nobody's got a real use case for them. And he comes at me with the use cases when the government becomes tyrannical and wants to take away your rights. You're going to use this gun to like fight back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, what is even happening? Why do you think this would help you? I'm like, do you have any ideas for how to kind of like push back on that concept?
Yeah, tell them to look up the move bombing in Philadelphia. I think it was 1986, 1985. I want to say maybe. Tell them to look that up and see how. Tell them to look up Waco, Texas, and see how that worked out. Tell them to look up any other time where this isn't 1776. They like to shout all the time. We're not.
Right.
They would be facing people with muskets. They would take you out so quick that your little fantasy of your revolution with even your AKs and your automatic weapons would be so fantastical. You might as well be living in a comic book or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was thinking, and I was like, dude, like, come on. And he's like, I acknowledge it's like a slippery slope fallacy, but he's like, I see how it's going. The government's always trying to take away rights, trying to seize more power on us. And I asked him, I was like, what's an example of the government doing it like right now? And he's like, oh, the Roe v. Wade decision we're waiting on. That it looks like they're going to strike down Roe v. Wade because he thinks you should have rights to an abortion, and so taking that away, is the government trying to control us and infringe on our rights. And I'm like, I guess I have to concede, yeah, that's a move. It looks like they're taking away our rights, but how is it going to go all the way to the other end? And how do you think it's going to do anything?
What has he done to protect those rights? Because I'm going to assume he's actually supported politicians based on his politics who have perfectly helped this moment come to fruition.
That's a good question. We didn't really get into that.
Like,
I know,
is he a Ron Paul guy? Does he like Rand Paul? Does he think the Freedom Caucus is cool? I mean,
yeah, I'm trying to remember. I know back in 2012, I wasn't old enough to vote yet, but he was, and he voted for like the Christian like side party or something. Like he wasn't even voting for like Republicans or something. So I don't really know what he's done politically to do that, but it was just like he's so emotionally invested in this idea that these guns are going to help him when the government comes for his rights.
I mean, I don't know what else to say to someone like that other than like bringing up these I mean, it seems like he's not looking for any sort of argument in reality. He's just looking for an excuse to keep his guns. I mean, he wants to live out a fantasy. It's no different than Tim Pool telling everybody to get ready for the Civil War. It's like that. It is the perfect encapsulation is the South Park version of Mel Gibson, where he's like, "Oh, I don't want you to torture me. I don't want you to whip me with this chain," as he hands you a chain, and like it's like that thing. Like, oh, beware the Civil War. I hope it doesn't come. Arm yourself and buy my prepper food kits. But oh, I hope the Civil War doesn't come. I mean, give me a break. These guys are basically looking to live out their fantasy, and it sounds like that's what your friend really wants. Like they're dreaming of this. I mean, they may not want to admit it, but there's no other excuse, really. If you can't look at the reality of the situation, like, listen, if you want to keep your guns, just say, like, I want my guns. You don't need to come up with this fake bullshit scenario unless you want that fake bullshit scenario to happen.
Right, and that actually kind of did end up being one of his arguments. He's like, look, for some people, it's just their hobby. They just want to go out on their 15 acres of land and shoot the big gun fast. And I was like, dude, just get a different hobby then. Like, I can't be bothered. That's your hobby.
Right. I mean, I think that's at least a much better argument than the fighting back the tyrannical government one. I mean, yeah. I mean, listen, just also, I don't think I've seen any sort of push to actually take anyone's guns. It would be about changing what guns are sold now, and then instituting buyback programs to try to convince people to sell their guns back. But like, if he wanted to keep his crazy ass gun and weaponry, even if like any of these laws passed,
I don't even think he owns anything that crazy. It's just like the idea that he couldn't get one is like so terrible to him.
Right.
He's literally like, that's collective punishment. You're punishing the many for the crimes of the few. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you saying right now?
I mean, I could argue that you're punishing the many by selling that shit. So the many are living in fear, and not even just fear, living under the very realistic scenario where they can be killed in one of these mass shootings that are becoming more and more common in our society. I mean, if you care about the many, then you should be caring about the lives of the many and not this dumb bullshit about their access to guns. It's the same thing it's really reminiscent of the idea of like, we can't tax the billionaires because what if I one day and I'm a billionaire? It's like, give me a break. You aren't. It's like
we have that one like all the time too. He's like, where are you gonna get the money for the programs you want? I'm like, I'm gonna tax rich people. And he's like, why are you gonna do that? I'm like, they're rich because they took the money from poor people. I'm okay with that. I mean,
I'm actually more and more coming to the idea of, and I'm fully on board, honestly, is like that's not even a good excuse anymore. I mean, we should tax them because of income inequality reasons, but in terms of like the funding for this stuff, just print the fucking money. Just print it up. Just print the goddamn, there's no reason we shouldn't be able to fund anything. Right.
I mean, I'm totally with you. Like, money is fake. Like, we could print more of it, like the government. Like I'm on that modern monetary theory. What's it called again?
Yep, that's it.
Like
MMT,
that makes a lot of sense to me. I'm like, yeah, man. Like, I hardly ever hold real cash, right? Like, my work deposits a number at my bank, and then I walk around with a card that sends that number to places.
Right.
Like,
but and in this case, it's not just like you and me just saying we have unlimited money. It's literally the bank is saying. They have, you know what I mean? Like,
right. I totally agree with you. And I just, like, so I would probably say that's really how you spend the programs. But, like, the libertarian conservative types, you've got to convince them the money's coming from somewhere at least, right?
Right.
Because usually they're like, you can't just print more money. That's bad.
Right. I love how they live in these fantasy worlds where they'll take down the U.S. government, but we can't just print more paper.
I know. Yeah.
Or not even like we were talking about, literally just open up a program and go to our keyboard and just change the fucking digits on the screen.
Yeah.
That's too crazy. That's so don't. Yeah. But you're gonna fucking take out the U.S. government in a firefight. Okay, buddy.
Right. Yeah. you're gonna do something with your big guns, but boy, we can't just like hand out money. No, it's too far. Well, I think that's it for me. Thanks for the chat. I
don't know.
appreciate it.
Thank you
It's
for
been
the call.
bouncing around in my head. I need to talk to somebody about it.
Yeah, I mean, I would ask him who I would go back next time you talk to him. I would find out who he supports politically, and then just literally say, "Oh, so you literally support all the people?" Oh, because I unless he's someone who just doesn't vote or votes for the Libertarian Party. But then again, I would also say that he's supporting, at least if he votes for the Libertarian Party, he's supporting people who's giving him exactly what he wants. Yeah. It would not shock me if your buddy is a Paulite, and here he is saying that the government's taking away our rights to a woman's right to choose. Buddy, you helped get us there. But yeah, definitely call back in.
I honestly don't even know, because he's really like, I distrust anything the government does, and I was like, dude, like, we can change how the government is by like voting in people. Do you like understand that concept? Like, I don't. So yeah, I'll talk to him about who he's voted for. That's definitely an interesting thing that I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
To ask him, because I know he's been like in different spaces besides kind of like the mainstream Republican Democrat Party support.
Yeah, I mean, definitely call back and let me know when you talk with him next time.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
For sure. You too. Thanks, Matt.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Geez, how long are we going now? This is another 10 hours. Oh, only. Well, we did the hour first half. We got another hour and a half. We did another hour and a half. I'll take it. We'll go to midnight for sure. Let's see. Oh, and I just pressed the wrong button. I hung up on everybody. Call back in. All right, here we go. Let me take this call. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh my goodness. Hello. Yeah, let me pause you over here and look at you over here. Hi, Matt.
Hey, who's this?
I am Emmy Martian. I'm calling from Austin, Texas. I am an out and proud trans woman. Happy Pride Month and all that.
Hey, I mean, can I pull you up on the feed? I see you're using video.
Please.
Cool.
Do it.
Cool.
Do it.
Thanks for calling in. I've seen you in the chat. I think this is your first time calling in. Yeah. What would you like to talk about?
Boy, where do I start? I mean, okay, well, this is Scam Economy Night, so you can leave the doomed stuff for a moment.
No, you don't have to worry about it. Just whatever you like to talk about.
We'll push that back.
Okay.
We'll do the. Okay, so I was talking to my friend, and like, I was telling him about your show and stuff, and he was like, my biggest thing is that I'll never forgive them for ruining the graphics card market, because he's a gamer, and like, now graphics cards, they cost like $20 million to be able to play, like, he just wants to play Spider-Man or some such, you know?
Right.
He's just, you know, he's sitting at home, he wants to play a video game, dang it, and not have to pay $20 billion just so that his little dinky computer can handle it or whatever. I don't know. It's but my point is that so like, it tanked that market, and I saw people on chat talking about PS5s. You can't afford them, you can't get them because they fly off
right.
They can't make enough of them because that's all in demand because of the damn crypto miners. You had that crypto miner on like a week or two ago, and he was like, oh, you know, I make a little bit of money on here, and I've got 2 machines in the background just running crypto, mining it, and I'm like, great, just using up those resources, just because that's what our resources that we all collected. That's what we built these giant Hoover dams and stuff for as a country, is so that you could mine this. Yeah, just waste those resources, buddy. But anyways, the thing is that, you know, they talk about how porn moves technology and stuff. I don't know if you remember that, like, that big whole thing the way they were pushing for a while, where it was like porn and media and stuff like that. It pushes technology, and we have advancement and so forth. These people are crippling technological advancement because there's not the demand anymore for, if people can't get the better equipment, they can't play the video games, they can't make better video games. It's supposed to be this sort of cycle that just continues to build on itself. And you stall the market. I don't know. It's just one of many things. It's what he was ticked off about. I live in Texas, so, I'm also pissed off about the whole power grid just totally failing. You mentioned earlier that where did they all go to? Where was it all where has cheap power? Where did they all move to? They all moved to this. All the people in Texas were like, yeah, let's start up some business, Bitcoining, and just run it to the max. And what happened? The grid went down and people died. People died. These are very real consequences. This is a very real thing. People died here in Austin. And not even just people. One of the members of the Fabulous Thunderbirds, or, other bands, real people, famous people, big people, rich people, they died. And Ted Cruz gets off takes his kids to frickin' Cancun or wherever the hell. Anyways.
No, go off.
There for a
No,
minute.
yeah, go off. No, that was yeah. No, that was great. No, I mean it's a lot of things there to bring up. But let's you brought us to Texas. So let's stay in Texas. Yeah, it is the whole crypto market moving there. And then I don't know if you saw this when there was a issue, it was a couple months ago, I think it was, where there was what's it called, like ERCOT, right? That's what it is for short, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
The Texas's own
own special power grid, which makes us
right,
somehow better or dumber than everybody else.
Yeah, when that was going on, a couple months ago, there was worry about it cutting out, and the crypto miners who were in Texas came out and presented themselves as heroes, saying oh, here we are, and we're going to pull back or pause on our crypto mining. Don't worry. I mean, what?
You're the ones who got us here in the first place.
Yeah.
The reason the water is this high is because you guys keep drilling holes in the bottom of the boat. That's why the water is this high, buddy. You're not doing me a favor by bailing out a couple of buckets of water when you drilled the hole in the boat in the first place. But Texas legislature, especially with its, we have the American exceptionalism, and then here in Texas, it's American exceptionalism to the nth power, because it's Texas exceptionalism. We don't need help from anybody. We don't need your health care, your Medicare. Texas legislature refuses all that funding, all that federal funding that they try to give us every goddamn year, and we're always turning it down. We're always like, nah, we don't need that. We have our own power grid. We have our own. And that's really just a scam. It's to make people absolutely reliant on giant companies that are just going to keep scamming them and sapping their bucks, and just
Yeah, it's I don't know what bless you for living in Texas, I guess. I mean, I've never been. I'm sure it's beautiful. I know there's great people there, and there's some great cities. And I just don't know what's going on. I mean, I guess you could always be in Florida, right? It could be worse, right?
It
could be worse.
I mean, I live in Austin because when I moved to Austin, it was small. It was a slacker's paradise. You could rent a bedroom, but an apartment for $350 and work at a crappy video store that sold that had bootleg VHSs of old 40s films that you've never heard of. Anyways, back when you could have that slacker lifestyle of just sort of existing, being yourself, and hey, I'm going to take this regular job. I'm going to make a little bit of money. I'm going to make some art on the side with my free time, because I don't really, this job, my job is not my identity necessarily. Anyways, that's why I live in Austin. The people here were really great. Austin used to be the place where everybody who grew up in a conservative shithole in Texas, and they said, I don't want to live in this conservative crap. I don't know if I can say that.
No, you could say whatever you fucking like.
All right, just making sure. Just making sure. I was like, we're on YouTube and Twitch. Anyway, so like that used to be our influx. Was I grew up in this shitty town. I'm weird. I couldn't handle it there. I got to Austin as quick as I could because it was the place where I could survive or whatever. Now our influx is I'm a conservative who lives in California. Like I'm responsible for the rent prices going through the roof by gentrifying everything. I can't afford to live there anymore. I'm going to move to Austin where it's cheaper and like it's in Texas and supports my conservative values more than California that doesn't. And that seems to be more where Austin's like current influx kind of comes from. You know, we used to joke about how we got a lot of influx from California, but like it's a different type of. It used to be the slackers that sort of fell off. Now it's the go-getters who want to like have all the startup companies, you know, which is just another, in my opinion, another scam economy bullshit, you know.
It depends. The startup world in terms
Not
of like
all
the
of it.
funding and shit is definitely, you know, and there's a few, you know, I'm not like a anti. That's the thing. A lot of these people think like, oh, they love to compare crypto to the crypto advocates love to compare it to like the early days of the internet, and if you criticize it, then you're one of like those early internet naysayers who now look really dumb, who like scoffed at the idea of like email and like websites and stuff like that. And it's like,
Right.
I'm not an anti-tech person. I literally am a tech reporter. I love tech. I fucking love like technology and new shit. I'm not like, you know, I think Facebook's branding of the metaverse is garbage, but I think virtual reality is cool. I would just like to see, I hope it one day becomes like more practical than it being like sort of like a gimmicky thing it is now. But like, I think the tech is cool. I'm not like anti VR.
You're clearly not a Luddite over here
Yeah.
with your 2 podcasts on multiple platforms.
Right.
You're such a Luddite.
Right.
You're such a like.
But like
you've fallen behind.
create something. Do something. Give us some sort of product or service that actually provides value into the world. And I don't just mean financial value. I mean value in people's lives. You know, I think the invention of social media and the platforms with all of my critiques about them, I think they are have given off a lot of good too to the world in terms of connecting people. I mean, here we are right now, you and me. I'm in New York City, you're in Austin, Texas, and here we are conversing. We couldn't do it in this way prior to someone creating Skype and YouTube and our video cameras and our microphones and stuff like that. Like, they've created something of value. I'm sure there's other areas to criticize them or to critique like how they treat the labor that went into this. But in terms of the actual like product, they did a good job, you know. But like, I don't see anything in the crypto space that has given us anything of value. If crypto was to disappear tomorrow, how would your life be different? I mean, my life would be different in the sense of I would have an extra 2 to 3 hours of my life back every week. But that's about it. That's about it. Nothing would be missing in terms of like something, a service or a product I use on a regular basis.
I'd be less worried about the power grid failing, you know, and people dying again because it's a concern here. It's a concern. Everybody's power went out the other day when it was 109 and like it went out for like a few miles square radius. And man, it was just like immediate. As soon as it went out, it was like my Facebook, you know, somebody's on Facebook, somebody's on Discord being like, hey, is your power on?
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
Here we go again. How long will it be? How many lives will it cost?
How much do they charge? How much do they charge you over there too? I'm guessing it's expensive because they're running their own. Like, is your like
Austin has special weird, like especially right in Travis County in Austin, we're super lucky. We don't actually. Everybody else is screwed. Okay, everybody else around us totally screwed. I don't know how. Probably because it's the state capital, and probably because Greg Abbott wanted to give himself an exception or something. You know,
it's probably some sort of subsidies, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. But
No,
I don't know how any of that works.
is there anything else you
Yeah,
wanted to talk about?
I do also want to address briefly, your caller on Doomed the other night. The damned. Oh, I'm a self-assured trans woman, and I get along with Republicrats and all the time, and blah 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 blah, and oh, I tell people this, and they disagree with me, and then 3 years later they say, oh, you were right. The three people who told you that are the 97 people they didn't come back to you 3 years later because they wrote you out of their phone book. Okay, the anecdotal evidence that you dropped about that was dismissing she came on, she just started dismissing anecdotal stories from people, and what was her evidence? Anecdotal evidence. Anecdotal evidence. It's like, well, your anecdotal story doesn't actually square up because I have my own anecdotal story. That doesn't use statistics. Use any. I'm sorry. Maybe you just. I mean.
No, go off. No,
I just wanted to respond to that because I consider myself, a lot of trans women have dysphoria and stuff like that, and I'm very lucky. I love my body and have suffered a minimal amount of that compared to a lot of people that I know who struggle with that. And I'm not going to dismiss that just because it didn't happen to me, just because I can get out there and fake it and talk with I can talk with the good old boys and we can get on down and talk about cars and carburetors and all that. No day, I can get on now. They can think I'm one of the good old boys any old day. Yeehaw, sure I can get along with them. That says nothing.
Yeah.
That proves nothing.
Right.
You're just kowtowing to people who ultimately, like you said, they not only don't have your best interests at heart. They actively are fighting against you. Your very right to exist.
Yeah, it just doesn't I'm sure if you meet someone and I go on conservative shows to talk and they're very cordial and nice to me in person, but and I'm just out of just basic common decency, don't smack them across the face and start shitting all over them in their home or in their studio or whatever. I return the same cordialness. But listen to how I'm even talking about it. I'm not saying they were great human beings. We were cordial with each other. That's a very different word.
And that's actually one of the things I love about you and your show is how much you reach out to those, you let those people, you try to engage with them, and that's not a bad thing. And I think in some ways that's what that caller was sort of trying to say, but
I definitely think
way too much apologetic.
I definitely think she was 100% in good faith. I don't want any doubt if she's listening or anyone else. I think she was coming at it completely in good faith. She wasn't a dishonest conservative trying to pretend that conservatives are really the pro-trans people and it's the liberals who. I just think she was coming at it with her anecdotal evidence. I do think she's probably one of those in terms of politics might be a little bit more libertarian leaning. I see this sort of attitude with a lot of that sort of libertarian type ideological leaning people. I think she was 100% in good faith.
I get it because I was talking about living in Austin. One of the reasons I moved to Austin is the people here, and I'm gonna try and wrap up here because I know you got other things and you've gone late tonight. But the people here, when I moved here, it's you talk and you communicate. Everybody talks with one another, and you talk in turn, and you talk to the person standing in line behind you. It doesn't matter. We used to have this French place that we used to go to, and the gutter punks would be there having lunch with the legislators, and the gutter punks would be there for the $1.25 French onion soup and bread, and because you could get a pauper's meal there, but they also had really nice French cuisine. So the legislators and other people would be in this same place, and people would just talk and be eye to eye. And so I get that. I get being able to be in those spaces, to be able to be. But also,
I thought you were gonna start singing against me for a second. We're all presidents, we're all congressmen, we're all cops in waiting. I really thought for a second you were gonna.
Oh that's like one of my best friend's favorite bands, and they cover Against Me like nobody's business. One of these days, I'll get y'all to braid one another.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Yeah, Against Me has
that's-
always been one of my favorites. Yeah,
Oh,
I saw them, early 2000s at ABC No Rio. It must have been like 50 people. And that was the first time I saw them. Yeah. And I've seen them many times since. But yeah, that was my first time seeing them. Right. Yeah. Got a little punk rock in there too. Had to do it. No, thanks for the call. This is fantastic. Definitely call in more. I've noticed you in the, I guess you new regular listener viewer.
new regular.
Yeah,
New-
I've seen
new
you in there a
regular.
few times. Definitely call in. This was a great conversation.
Thank you so much for having me, and beyond even just calling in, I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring. You said you need some helpers and some people. I'm just throwing my hat in the ring. Just saying, in the future, you expand your team to 2 or 3 people.
Oh, definitely.
Keep me on the list.
I will for
Just-
sure.
just
Once I,
Put my hat in the ring there.
sounds good.
I look at you, and like William S. Burroughs said, you're the guy I want to spend my money on.
Oh, thank you.
And it's like that,
I appreciate that.
Anyways.
Very kind of you to say.
Love you. Love everything you do. Big shout out to Zoe, your mod, who does like a fantastic job of modding.
Right.
And for everybody else for giving me the courage and strength to call in. Love y'all. Love this show. Love the community.
Thank you.
Peace out and all that jazz.
Have a great night and yeehaw. There you go. In Texas.
Yeehaw!
Take care.
I was born in Detroit.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm
There you go.
I'm not 100% Texan. All right.
all
We
right.
can get into my sordid history of pirate broadcasting. another
I
night.
guess I could say, all right, Mitt Romney's dad then. How about that? I mean, I don't remember what his name was. What was Mitt Romney's dad's name? I don't even recall. But he was a Detroit guy because he was big into the whole car thing.
Oh, it's not like Lee Iacocca
He was the
or
governor
something.
of Michigan. How could I forget? Right, George Romney. All right, there you go. All right.
George Romney. Wow. Yeah, my dad would probably be pissed right now that I didn't remember that. He would. My dad's like a poli-sci history super. Yeah. Anyways, that's partly where I get it from. I'm gonna let you go.
Thanks for
All
the
right,
call,
I already
Emmy.
said
Have
goodbye.
a great night.
Ciao.
That was great. She was great. How was she worried about calling in? Emmy, how are you worried about calling in? Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from? Hello? Uh-oh. Whoever's calling in has a poor connection on their end. Let's see if it goes through. I have to let them go. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello?
Hey, you are on the air. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Orion from Alaska.
Hey, how you? Was it Ryan? You
I'm
said?
good. Yeah, Orion.
Oh, Orion. Right. Hey, Orion. I see you're using
yeah, like
video.
translation.
Could I bring
Yeah.
your video up on the feed? What time is it in Alaska right now?
Right now it is, let me check my watch. It is 8 o'clock, 8:10.
It's so sunny outside.
Yes, it is.
Are you in
It
like?
is.
I know nothing about Alaska. I know everything about Alaska is from that vampire movie, 40 Days and Nights.
Yeah.
Are you in like the time period where it's sunny 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
Not quite. It gets dark around midnight or so.
What?
And for about
What?
4 or 5 hours. And then it's sun's rising back up. It's pretty
What?
nice. Summers are beautiful.
Wow.
But the winters is pretty brutal because it's the complete opposite.
I'm
People that go to work during the day, like you'll go to work and you will not see the sun if you're indoors.
I'm
You'll come in and out.
I'm absolutely in
without
shock.
sun.
I'm absolutely in shock
Yeah.
right now. You get sunlight out to till midnight. Oh my God. I might have to move to Alaska.
Yeah. Just come in the summer. It's beautiful. Unless you like skiing. I mean, I'm not a skiing person. I grew up in Alabama.
Oh, I hate the winter, so
So,
I'd probably
it's
have to come just
opposite up
during.
here.
Yeah, I'd probably just have to come during the summer, right? You
Yeah.
you also get your nice little your share from the oil every year, right?
Yeah, we get that dividend, the
Oh.
permanent fund dividend.
God
So
damn
it's
you! You get the
That's
sun,
only
you get
once a
the
year.
dividend.
Yeah, but you only get it once a year, and it's not that much. It's only like $800, maybe $1,000. So
I'll
it's not
take
going to make a difference. But maybe you can pay off something or buy something that you need. It's but if it was a monthly, oh man,
I mean,
I'd be
hey,
feeling good here.
it shows that you could do it though, and give people who give people that dividend. Damn, I mean, shit, I'll take it. We got nothing
Yeah.
here on the other on these other 49 states. So I'm looking at you
Exactly.
right now, licking my chops at those $800 to $1,000 a year.
Yeah, it does help with, but the prices are higher up here for a lot of things.
Oh, right, because
Especially if you live further out, and like I live in Anchorage, which is the biggest city. It's got half the population of the whole state. But if you live out in the bush in those little villages, then it's going to cost you a lot just to buy a gallon of milk. It'd be like $12.
Damn.
It's crazy.
Right.
And that's not even like fresh milk. That's long life milk. That's those cartons.
Are the people in Alaska? I mean, you're in Anchorage, it's a major city. Major cities everywhere are probably different from the rest of the state. But is it? I'm completely unfamiliar with Alaska, obviously. Is Sarah Palin a good or bad representative of your state?
That's frightening. Frighteningly, Alaska's the Florida, kind of like a cold Florida. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, there's a lot of Palin-esque people up here.
Was
a lot of diversity. There's a lot of diversity. You get very liberal people here, but you also get very, very conservative. They really like their guns here.
Right. How it's always I always was in, being that it's so, where it is on the map in terms of like not connected to the main, 48 states. And it's not like, oh, it's an island, like you'd write off like Hawaii. No, it's very much like connected to Canada. Do you have like a lot of Canadians coming in and out, or is it like, does Canada even recognize it as like over there?
Oh yeah. There's a lot of Canadians that come over, and because it's connected with the road there, the Alaska Alcan Highway, but it's not we're not connected to like a populated area of Canada through where it runs. The road, so it's because it goes into British Columbia, which is pretty much like Canadian Alaska.
Now, one more question, because I realized you called into my show and I'm asking you all the questions about Alaska. Can you see Russia from your house?
I couldn't hear you.
Can you see Russia from your house?
Oh, if I strain and I stand on my tippy toes, I cannot see it. Just
also, I lied. One more question: was Don Young dying a big deal in your state? Was it like a national day of a statewide day of mourning for Alaska?
Not mourning, but I'm not surprised it didn't happen earlier. Well, I probably shouldn't say that. But I mean, he was a whole crazy coot. I couldn't believe that he keeps getting reelected year after year.
Oh, he was the longest standing U.S. rep. Yeah, amazing. Jeez, how many was it? It was decades and decades. God.
Yeah, he supported the oil and everything, and we're an extraction state. We've always been where it's been gold or salmon, or now oil or timber.
Were you born and raised in Alaska? Were you born and raised in Alaska, or did you go there?
No, born and raised in Alabama. I moved up here 20 years ago. So I spent half my life here, half my life in Alabama.
All right. Wow. Big change, I'm guessing, right?
Oh yeah. Big difference.
Now,
and I also worked in Kuwait for 5 years. So
there you go.
I've been desert,
around,
Arctic, everywhere.
Did you move up there for work?
My family did, yeah.
All right, cool.
20 years ago, and I came with them, and it's been interesting. Go out. Easy to go out into very rural areas and go camping, hiking, all that stuff, but you're also connected here with the city, so it's a good combination. I like it.
I'm sorry for treating you as if like you're living with the natives in the Amazon rainforest, but Alaska is very much
I'd show you
foreign to me.
Yeah, I'd show you my igloo, but it just melted. That darn climate warming.
Now that I've asked you everything about Alaska, which I'm sure is why you called in, you assumed I was gonna grill you on Alaska. What would you like to talk about, Orion?
Actually, that was what I was hoping for because I've just been smoking weed and watching your show and just wanted to say I love it.
Thank you.
This
I
show,
appreciate
the Majority
that.
Report, and longtime listener, first time caller.
I love it. Thank you. And I'm truly fascinated by your exotic locale that is Alaska. Dude, did you when that movie came out, 40 days, it's called 40 Days of Night, right?
40 nights.
Was it like a big deal in Alaska? Like, whoa, this was all about us.
Anything that references Alaska is a big deal.
So I mean, this was
isolated and forgotten. That yeah, we really clamor over any attention, and we'll try to make it. That's why we sent out Palin, so we can get that attention.
You get back in the spotlight soon. It seems like, for sure.
Yes.
Do you live like what I mentioned earlier about there, like from the movie, where there's just days where the sun doesn't go down? Is that just parts of Alaska? Like, do you live in part of Alaska that happens, or is like sundown at midnight the best you get?
Yeah, sundown to midnight's the best we get right here in Anchorage. So it's kind of more of just at the top edge of the temperate rainforest on the Pacific coast. So we get lots of rain, lots of snow, but also lots of sunshine, and everything grows like crazy. Can really grow those weed plants.
Someone in the chat asked, they guessed internet must be expensive in Alaska. Is that true?
It is. It's costing me about $200 a month for the top of the line because we're isolated, so everything is, it's a monopoly everywhere. Just
for the internet, no cable, no package deal or anything.
No, I think the cheapest package is like 100 something, but I've been doing I started doing some YouTube stuff, so I bumped it up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe Elon Musk will come in and save the day with Starlink over there.
Oh, maybe. One day. I'll be careful about putting my eggs in that basket.
Right. Yeah. Well, thanks for the call. This was great, Orion. I really appreciate it. I loved learning about Alaska.
Yeah, anytime. I'll call you back maybe in the winter and show you what it looks like here instead.
Oh, sounds good. Yeah, you don't have to wait that.
Nice for the green.
You don't have to wait that long, by the way. But yeah, definitely call back.
Okay, will do. Will do. Thank you.
Call back in when Sarah Palin wins in November.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You don't know the details.
Have a great night. Or enjoy the rest of, geez, how many more hours? 4 hours left of sun. Enjoy it.
4 more hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah, people are up at midnight mowing their lawn because you just lose track of time.
Amazing. I think I would like it. But who knows? Yeah.
Winter, summer, I'm super active. Winter, sleeping all the time.
Oh, you must. So how little sunlight do you get during the winter? It must be the reverse, right?
It's just a couple hours. Yeah, it's the exact reverse. So it's just like 4 or 5 hours.
Damn.
And it really wears on you. You have to get those satellites that give you the full spectrum to get that vitamin D and everything you need for your mental health.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Damn.
Yeah, highly recommended.
You know what? Call back in soon and we'll talk more about that. We'll get deep into that shit. That sounds interesting. All right.
We can definitely talk mental health and all that.
Yeah.
It's my alley.
All right. Sounds good. Take care. Have a great night.
All right. You too. Take care, man.
Bye. Damn.
Bye.
I think I would like Alaska during the summer. Oh boy, so many people are calling in. I feel so bad. I'm not gonna be able to get to everybody. Oh boy. Here, let me do this. I'm gonna hang up on everybody right now. Sorry, everybody who's on the line. I'm gonna read these super chats, and then I'll take one more call. So let's read these super chats. I gotta turn my volume down because everyone's calling in right now. All right, here we go. Baba Condios with a $10 super chat. Binder, have you ever owned a trapper keeper? Just thought it would be kind of ironic. Back in like maybe second or third grade, yes. So Binder's binder, yes. I see where you're going with this. Tokyo Hans with a super chat. Super important question. Do you ever drink light-colored sodas, or do you just drink sodas that match your shirt? I'm not a big fan of like Sprite. Ginger ale is good. I like ginger ale. I'm not a big fan of Sprite or 7-Up. They're okay. I would drink them. I don't like diet sodas. I don't like the zeros, like Coke Zero, Pepsi Zero. I like Dr. Pepper. I'm not a big cream soda guy. I'm not a big root beer guy. I like Coke, Pepsi, Cherry Coke, Dr. Pepper. I like some weird sodas. I've over the years tried like the Jolts and the they're all random like really specialty sodas. Like there's like a cherry cream soda that was good that I would drink every now and then. But I'm not too big of a fan of Mountain. I'm not a fan of Mountain Dew too much. But the one they sell at Taco Bell, the Taco Bell exclusive one, the Baja Blast, that is one of my favorites. It's a version of Mountain Dew. I think that it's awesome. I love it so much. It's one of my faves, I would say. And they should stop just selling it at Taco Bell. Omega says that car driving away was Elon stealing more memes. Easy 1977 with a super chat. Elon paid an undisclosed amount to be name dropped on Star Trek. F-U-C-K Elon. Ndungo Kamu. I'm sorry if I messed up your name. But thank you for the $5 super chat. Read The Knowledge Economy by Roberto Unger. I think this book gives a good explanation of why people are buying into this crypto stuff. I'm going to write down this name right now. Someone might, I don't know why this name sounds familiar. Someone might have brought it up to me before. Roberto Unger, The Knowledge Economy. I will. How old is this book? Is 2019. So I could possibly even reach out to Roberto Unger. Maybe he's a Brazilian philosopher. 75-year-old Brazilian philosopher. Let me check this out. Thank you for the recommend. Renee with super chats. Stalin was right in, finally invest in Zukovthuru. Renee also says, wish it was just a few nerdy pirates on an island. I saw that Kowalski dropped a super sticker, that good old pair giving me a cup of coffee that Kowalski loves to send when he sees me starting to get tired. And let me take, how can I not take this caller? Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh my God.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello there.
Cameron?
Hi. How's it going?
Did you shave
This
your
is
head?
Cameron Robson. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Did you shave your head?
I did have to shave my head during a certain initiation process. I can't talk about that. But how's it going?
It's going good. People were talking about you on the Majority Report earlier today when I was on the show.
I heard that. They mispronounced my name.
Yes.
They called me Cameron Robinson.
Yes, Emma was very
It's
confused.
actually Cameron Robertson.
And Matt Leck really thought the person who I am'd was being serious about who you were, and he was like, this is ridiculous. We're not having this guy on.
Well, yeah, you know what I like to call Matt Leck?
What?
Hat Leck.
Oh, because he's always
wearing a hat.
Yes, I gotta say, you look so different. Is this after you've met with Jeff Bezos? Is this your Jeff Bezos look?
I never met that guy.
Oh, right. That was. I'm sorry.
Emails.
I was confusing you with the actual Jeff
what's
Bezos.
going on right now is what is this? Oh, I'm currently in a foreign country.
I can tell. It looks like you're in Africa or something.
I will not specify whether I am in Africa or whether I am in something, but I am in one of those two places.
Okay. I mean, Africa would be a
And-
continent, so I didn't say country. That's correct. But yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. And the reason I'm here is because, well, after I was dropped back off at my Bitcoin mine, it seemed to have, I couldn't get back there. Someone had drawn or poured a line of salt across the entrance to the Bitcoin mine, and I'm not able to pass through a line of salt that's been drawn on the floor of a doorway because of a curse. So we had to expand our ventures into foreign mining interests. And what I wanted to really tell you about, just so you know that people can, for potential investors or people who are looking into getting in on this foreign Bitcoin mining that I'm doing, Canada has a very long history of mining. I've heard that Canadian mining consortiums control, a good two or thirds or three-quarters of the world's mining like, listen to this. This title of this article I've brought up: Canadian mining and the tragedy in Burkina Faso. Quote, there is a real problem with blah, blah, blah. Companies operate overseas. So they do operate. And then we do have, got another one, Canadian mining in Africa. And the quote is, do as you please approach comes at a high cost. So our companies have been able to do as we please in our mining operations. According to this chart, the cumulative Canadian mining assets in Africa sourced from the Government of Canada, Natural Resources Canada 2010, our mining profits went from $2.5 billion in 2001 to over $20 billion in 2008. And the prospects of the money making, the everything that we can be doing with all this great money. Oh, here's another one. The war in Ukraine has Canadian mining companies looking to Africa. Do you see this trend here?
I do, yes.
And again, I'm not going to say whether or not I'm in Africa, but I do have this safari jacket that I found.
Yeah, you could be in Australia, maybe.
The picture that I did download to put up as my green screen background is a picture of Australia, but for our purposes, I'm going to be suggesting that I may be in Africa.
All right, Cameron. Thank you for the call and for laying down some of these great opportunities that are.
Yeah, people don't know about Canadian mining, and you should look into it because it's very powerful, and we go under the radar. No one knows the things we're doing. Except Burkina Faso, I guess. I don't know. I've never met them.
All right. I mean, have a great night, my friend. I can't get over your new look, honestly. Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, well, it's hot out. I had to shave my head off.
Shave your head
remember
off?
that scene in what do you call it, Napoleon Dynamite, where the guy's like, I was really hot, so I had to shave all my hair off. That's like a true thing. I don't know how you haven't been rocking the bald look, because you got that thick ass hair too, man.
I do,
My
yes.
man.
Yeah, I don't think I would rock the shaved head though, like you are. I need my hair. I wouldn't. I would look
Well,
weird.
in the punk community, you don't want to give off the wrong signals.
That's true. That's true too. Take care, Cameron. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too, man. Bye.
Bye. Oh my god. Ah. Jeez. Cameron. All right, folks. I think I'm going to call it a night. We're at 12:30. Let me give the shout outs to everyone I need to give shout outs to. I'm going to sign out of the Skype. Think about who should I raid on Twitch? Let me thank the people. Oh, don't forget to connect your Twitch to give me your Twitch Prime subscription if you'd like. If you got that Twitch Prime subscription, if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber and you're looking for someone to sign up for, Amused Mob resubscribed with Prime 4 months in a row. 4 months, woot! Says Amused Mob. Thank you so much. Rebel Without a Cause resubscribed with Prime too. 7 month subscription there. Thank you so much. Don't forget to do that if you haven't already. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, it's absolutely free. You get a free Prime subscription. Make sure there's no more super chats that I missed. No, we're good here. Cool. Let me thank the patrons who've joined over the past week. Patreon.com/MattBinder. We're just a handful of patrons away from 350. It's not groundbreaking, not going to be one of the biggest patrons, but every milestone I feel like was big. I'd love to hit 400 soon, but we're getting there. We're getting there. 500 would be amazing. The ultimate goal would be like one that would like completely change the trajectory of this show. Like one that would like I would probably do like a lot more shit if we hit 1,000 patrons. We're like what 35% of the way there. It's not impossible. 1,000 would be incredible. But yeah, if we get to 500, 400 even, that's where we're cooking. Let's go to, where is this? I want to thank these new patrons. Michael D. Mike D. There's two different Mikes. Michael D and Mike D. Cat D. I promise you these three aren't from the same family. Southpaw. Lassafras. Michael U, Brian F, and Chris L. Thank you so much for supporting this show by becoming patrons. Can't do it without your support. Omega with a super chat says, "Hey Matt, raid Blue Lizard Guts." Well, being that you dropped a super chat, and that's someone I've never raided before, I think that'll do. Let's see who this person is first of all. Blue Lizard Guts on Twitch. I got an ad. I can't see what Blue Lizard Guts does. What do they do? Fully unscripted, 100% from memory history live stream. Sounds interesting. What's that all about? Let's do it. Let's do this. I'm rating Blue Lizard Guts now. Let's do it. And folks, scameconomy.com. Oh, if you haven't already, please leave those reviews. Oh, the Surfs is on right now? I never get to I'll do Blue Lizard Guts. Why is Lance streaming so late tonight? I'll have to get him another night. I already promised Omega. Leave those reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify for Scam Economy and Doomed if you haven't already. Download the Scam Economy podcast, scameconomy.com. All the links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. are there. Once again, youtube.com/MattBinder, twitch.tv/MattBinder, patreon.com/MattBinder. And I will see you all next time on Doomed and on the Scam Economy. Have a great night, everybody.